These are business decisions that looked small, strange, or ambitious at the time and then changed the outcome in a much bigger way. From failed prestige projects to branding pressure and unexpected growth, each one shows how operations and incentives shape industries. A film sold as Indonesia's savior still left empty seats in 1997. That film was Fathahillah, a historical drama about the life of Fathahillah and the founding of Jakarta. Released in 1997, it was the most expensive domestic film in Indonesia at the time, with a prestige scale few local productions could match. But audience demand did not match the budget, so the box office never turned that scale into strong ticket sales. The result was a costly studio gamble, a grand poster, a historical story, and a theater with too much open space. A drink launched in 2000, then had to drop its own name a year later. The can changed before the market finished learning it. Boston Beer Company introduced it as Bodine's Twisted Tea. At the time, flavored malt beverages were crowding store shelves. Then a trademark lawsuit came from the band Bodines. In 2001, the brand came back as Twisted Tea, with the old name removed. The rename did not stop the drink's momentum. It kept building in rural markets, then moved into new and urban stores. By the years that followed, the new name was the one people reached for. On the shelf, the can survived as a brand of its own. She got a call about a World's Best Breakfast award, and her first thought was extortion. The phone on the counter made it feel serious, not celebratory. The owner of La Cocina de Dona Estela was running a restaurant, not expecting prize calls. A sudden phone call can sound like trouble when business days are built around orders, bills, and kitchen noise. The caller said the restaurant had received a World's Best Breakfast award. Because the message arrived by phone, she did not trust it at first and treated it like a suspicious request. Once the recognition was understood, the call became a business moment. The restaurant was no longer just serving breakfast, people were talking about it as a place with a title. For the owner, the change arrived through a phone call, not a stage. On the counter, the phone sat beside the breakfast plate, and the room felt different. A boxing prize came with a pension. In 1909, the Lonsdale belt carried more than metal and leather. The National Sporting Club in London ran elite professional boxing from 43, King Street, Covent Garden. It treated championships like club business. When the club introduced the belt, permanent holders were promised £1 a week from age 50. The prize now had a built-in future payment. That changed the belt from a trophy into an incentive. Champions were not only chasing applause, they were chasing a club-backed promise. Inside the club, the belt and the pension sat in the same system. On one table, prestige, and on the other, a weekly promise for later life. Anaida screened cover models by smoking. A teen magazine was checking a habit before the studio lights came on. Anaida was published in Indonesia from 1991 to 2009. After 1993, the Ummi Group acquired it and reoriented it toward teenage girls. The magazine was part of an Islamic media brand, so the cover shoot had a brand rule. Smokers were not hired, because the image had to match the audience it served. That filter changed who could appear on the cover. It narrowed the casting pool before the camera even rolled. By the time the cover light hit the backdrop, the choice was already made. A magazine, a studio, and a smoke-free cast list sat in the same room. A clothing brand can sell identity before the fabric even arrives. Shucker built part of its appeal through names tied to Muslim women. Shucker was founded in Jordan in 2001 by Anas Silwood and Jafar Malik. It began with menswear, then widened into women's clothing. The turning point was distribution. Shucker sold mainly through e-commerce, reaching customers in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Europe. As women's wear grew, it became the majority of sales by 2016. The brand also used Quran references and endorsements from Islamic scholars to frame its image. That mix of naming, design, and online retail gave the brand a clear signal in the market. By 2026, Niswa Fashion owned the business, while the garment tag and the web storefront stayed central. A record label mailed spatulas to radio programmers. Not posters, not CDs, spatulas in the mail. The campaign was built around She Daisy, the Utah country vocal group from Magna. Their label was trying to reach the people who decide what gets played. The joke was in the word flip. A spatula is for flipping food, and the label wanted programmers to flip the single back into rotation. Instead of a generic mailer, the object turned into a direct reminder on a radio desk. It tied the promotion to one decision in front of one playlist. For She Daisy, the stunt fit the kind of small, physical push radio promotion often needed. A single spatula could sit beside a playlist and nudge a programmer's next move. A hotel deal ended with an unusual gold-dipped AK-47 gift. The Plaza Hotel sale had already moved to new owners, and the object sat beside a polished lobby scene. In 1995, Kwek Leng Bang and Al Walid bin Talal held an 80% stake in the Plaza Hotel. Kwek also led City Developments Limited and Hong Leong Group Singapore. The Plaza was not a one-off trophy. CDL kept buying hotels like the Gloucester and New York's Millennium Hotel, then folded its chains into Millennium and Copthorne Hotels. That merger gave the group a single hotel platform instead of scattered holdings. In 1996, Millennium and Copthorne became the first Singapore-based company with a primary listing on the London Stock Exchange. The result was scale across cities, not just one famous address, a hotel key, a skyline, and one more chain linked under the same corporate roof. If you made it through all 8, you've seen how much can turn on one call, one lawsuit, one rule, or one deal. Subscribe for more case studies like this, and tell us which decision changed the story most.